Tune your quad at the field without bringing along your laptop for the day? We'll show you how to do that in this video. Stay tuned. So welcome back. This is Mark with RC Rotors. Today we are going to review the Speedy Bee Bluetooth USB adapter. Speedy Bee is a name we are hearing a lot in the community right now because they're giving us a lot of cool ways to connect to our quads. In this particular video we are going to look at the Speedy Bee Bluetooth USB adapter. They have several other products including integrated flight controllers and Bluetooth adapters that hook to your UARTs. But in this video we're going to look at the Speedy Bee Bluetooth USB adapter. First thing we'll do is we will open this up and look at what comes in the package. In this package we are going to see the adapter itself, and we'll look into that in just a moment. And then they have included also within this an XT60 connector with wires connected already, and a manual, and then also yes, here it is. Inside with the XT60 connector there's also some shrink wrap. It seems like Speedy Bee's really thought through the packaging of this because they didn't necessarily have to give us shrink wrap, but that's much appreciated because then we don't have to get it on our own. One of the nice things about this Speedy Bee Bluetooth adapter, we'll put some of the stats up on the screen here, is that it is compatible from a 2S LiPo to a 7S LiPo. It also supports the STM32 and CP210 USB connectors, so that pretty much accounts for most of your flight controllers today, so it's compatible with pretty much everything out there on the market. It supports the app for iOS as well as Android, and you can find those on either the Apple App Store or the Google Play App Store. And that's about it for the points of the board. We'll look here. There's a couple LEDs and so on. It's of course Bluetooth compatible, and we'll look at that once we solder on the connector here in just a moment. One of the other nice parts about these Speedy Bee products are that they are well documented. You can find online on their website. I'll leave a link to that below. In fact, I believe it's this same exact diagram and instructions. It gives you the wiring guide. It also covers the different LEDs. There are 3 LED indicators. So these same instructions are also online. So everything's easy to find. That's one of the really nice things about it. And one other little piece is this nice little plastic container that, of course, it's small. You can throw it in your field box or your backpack. So I'm going to go ahead and connect up the XT60, and we'll be right back in just a moment. Alright, so with the magic of time and space and video editing, we're back. We have wired this Speedy Bee Bluetooth USB adapter up according to the wiring guide as well as what's on the internet. So we can see here, we'll do just a quick close-up of the wiring guide. Pretty standard or pretty simple wiring guide, straightforward. You have a positive and a ground hooking up to your LiPo, and in this case we're going to use the XT60 connector for the LiPo. So we see here on the board they've silk screened it here, and we have a positive and a ground, and we went ahead and put the shrink wrap over it. That way shrink wrap they provide to keep it nice and tidy. So we've connected this up, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to connect it to a quad and show you how it works. This particular quad has an SPF3 board in it. We can see here when we plug in our LiPo battery, this power source goes directly to the USB connector, and we get the red light that they're referring to in the instructions. This means that we have power to the board, and then we can see here once we connect it into our flight controller through the micro USB. Now we see we have, I don't know if we could see that on the video or not, but we now have two LEDs there. They kind of blend together. You have a red and a blue. The red indicates that we have power to the Bluetooth adapter, and the blue indicates that we've connected to the flight controller. Alright, so now that we have our connection to our flight controller, we're going to open up the Speedy app and connect the Bluetooth to the board. Once we open up the Speedy app, we'll see that it gives us a choice of Bluetooth or USB. This being the first time we've run the app, we need to select it to allow the location, and then select our device, which is the SBB device at the top of the page. Once we select that device, now it's going to connect through Bluetooth to our flight controller. You'll see at the bottom it says initializing, and once it's connected, the Speedy app will open up, and we'll see that we have connection to our flight controller. You can see that we're connected to our quad because our artificial horizon starts working, and we can also see on the application along the left hand side there are a bunch of tabs very similar to Betaflight. They've done a nice job of making the interface similar to the Betaflight interface. We're not going to go through each and every detail of the Speedy app, but needless to say, it pretty much contains everything that the Betaflight does with the exception of flashing firmware. So you do still need to flash firmware through the regular Betaflight application, but you can access the ports, the receiver tabs, the tuning tabs, the LED configuration tabs, and even one of the neatest parts of the application is the OSD tab. So you can drag and drop pieces on your OSD and make adjustments right at the field if you want to make changes. And you can even access the command line from here if you need to do that. So very handy app, and very useful for being at the field. This Speedy Bluetooth adapter allows you to connect wirelessly. Of course, you do have to plug it in. One of the things I really like about the adapter versus the flight controllers is that you can have one of them for multiple quads, whereas if you have a Speedy flight controller, you can access that particular quad through Bluetooth very easily. However, your other quads, you're out of luck unless you have Speedy flight controllers on all of them. This is where I really like the flexibility of the USB and Bluetooth adapter that plugs in, because you can use that over multiple different quads. The Speedy app works very similarly to Betaflight, so that whenever you make changes to your rates or any other parts of the settings, click the Save button and it will commit those changes. Whenever you're done making changes, click the red disconnect button at the top of the application and it will close out, and then you can try out your new settings. Of course, once we're done making all the adjustments in the app, after we've saved all of our changes, we want to make sure that we disconnect everything here. So we want to make sure that we disconnect our LiPo battery and also our Speedy Bluetooth USB adapter. Here's the top secret piece of information. For those of you who have iPhones, well, you need this device because you can't do it any other way. iPhone users, go out and get yourself a Speedy. It costs about 20 bucks online, and that'll let you make your changes as you want to. For those of us who are Android users, one of the nice things about the Speedy app at this point is it will allow you to connect through standard USB. Given that I connect a standard USB connector to my quad and uh-oh, I've got a problem, right? Unless you have what's considered a micro to micro in this, so a micro to micro USB cord or cable, you have an issue, right? Well, if you're anything or anyone like me, if you've purchased a phone at some point and used this one time, this what is called an OTG adapter, one time in order to transfer the contents of your phone, if you even did it that time, here is your chance to use this little device again. It comes with most of the phones that are 7s or later, but you can connect in through here, plug this directly into your phone,